The Great One's Future by ParadexTM 18 Falmouth Rimuru Pav. We were currently in a carriage riding to Falmouth. I really hope they didn't forget what happened in the past, Miharan said. Don't worry, I wouldn't kill someone of your blood, I said, and she sighed. It's just that they normally would visit me once in a while, but sometime it stopped and they didn't come along anymore, Miharan said. Are you upset because of that? Shizu asked, interested. Not really. They are of my blood, yes, but I don't know which generation already. And it might be creepy for humans to meet the wife of your grandfather, Miharan said, looking out of the window. Do you still have your royalty token, Miharan? I asked, and she nodded. Well, this way we won't have trouble entering the capital city, I said. Then let's show them the true ruler of their land, Fufu, Shizu said. Third Pav. The carriage stopped on the main gate and a few guards ordered us to prove our identity. They looked in the carriage, seeing two maids with blue and green hair, a couple with blue and black hair, and a woman who showed them the royalty token of Falmouth. The guards were shocked because they never saw them, but the token was real. So they all bowed. Sorry for our disturbance, the guard said, and all bowed. Let them pass, one shouted, and the gate opened, letting us pass. A few minutes later, in the most defended place in this nation, the king and his family, consisting of his wife and one daughter and one son, eating together, were disturbed by the royal knights. My king, we received a report from the gate, the knight said, and kneeled. Then you shall report, knight, the king said, looking a bit annoyed that his time with his family got disturbed. Just a few minutes ago a carriage passed our gates and one of the persons, a woman, had the royalty token of Falmouth, the knight reported. What? We are all here, how can that be? The prince asked. We confirmed its authenticity, the knight answered. Dear, what is the meaning of this? The queen asked while carrying the little princess with her. I don't know. Where are those people now? I want you to bring them to me, the king said, and the royal guard left. What if it's a trap, father? The prince said, worried. It won't be a trap, it's too obvious for that, the king simply said. Father, did you told me really everything? Is what the king thought. He knew that Falmouth is a Paput nation that has the luck to have been forgotten, but was that really everything? Rimuru Pav. Honey, let's go shopping, Shizu said, excited, and I looked at Miharan and she smiled. Minami and Vera, you will stay here and guard this carriage, I said, and both nodded, at your command. I then get out and stretched my hand out to help Seal to come out of the carriage. She smiled and took my hand, slightly blushed. Miharan followed her. I need to say that this really resembles Tempest, Miharan said, surprised. Well, after all, we built it up after the Civil War, Rimuru said, and then added, so then ladies, let's go a bit shopping, shall we? Yes. Both cheered. How about this store first? Shizu said, pointing at a clothing shop, and I immediately. Oh God. Please don't tell me. My sweat dropped thinking to the times I was treated as a doll by Shuna and Shion. Well, when you want, honey, I said, trying to smile. But God seemed to have heard my thoughts. Well, I am God, so I was not treated as a doll. The reason Shizu wanted to go there was simply for undress for her and Miharan. Fufu, it's sure nice to stay on this side of the power, I said, looking at them. Shizu tried out a red-colored dress and Miharan a purple-colored dress. What do you think, honey? Shizu asked. Surprisingly, you look good in a red dress. I guess you can wear any color, honey, I said, and then looked at Miharan. You two look great. If I remember correctly, the first time we saw us you had purple-colored clothes too, I said, and she blushed. We will take those too, can they just let it on? I asked the shop owner. Yes, of course, the shop owner said, happy. After all, those were his most expensive type of dresses he had. Then we left the shop and I looked at Shizu's hand. You are still wearing the ring, I said, smiling, and she pouted. Of course I am. This is the ring you gave me at our wedding. With such a dress you need a bit more jewelry, I said, and snapped with my finger, and then she had a beautiful necklace around her neck with the same type of gem that is on her ring. Now I am feeling like some kin of queen, Shizu said. Because you are my queen, I said, and then smiled as a crown appeared in my hand. No way, I am wearing that, Rimuru, she said. Don't be so frank, you are the queen of Black Castle and this black gemmed plotting crown will fit perfectly your appearance and title, I said, smiling. Rimuru. I was just an adventurer, not a queen. Well, you were a hero, but then you became my wit, and I am a king, so you are a queen. Seal personally made this for the queen, I said and she looked at me. Seal made this? She asked and I nodded. Then she took the crown and put it on her head. She sure looks great, I thought, and then looked at Majoran and snapped my fingers. This is for you, Murin, I said, and she had an emerald necklace around her neck and a bracelet around her arm. Thank you, Rimuru, she said. Seal, take out my royalty clothes, I said. Yes, dear, she simply said, and my clothes changed in a mere second. I don't own that picture, just imagine Rimuru like this with a crown on his head and a few more golden jewelry. Also on that red coat is the Jurat Tempest Federation emblem. I don't own that picture, my queen. A few royal knights want to meet you. What shall we do? Get rid of the trash? Minami asked through thought communication. No, just wait there, we will come. I ordered them to wait. Then my queen, it seems like someone wants to meet us, I said, stretching out my hand for a walk. Shizu smiled and took my hand. We then walked back to our carriage and Mihiran followed us. I could hear things like, who are they? They seems to be royalty, beautiful, make the way clear. Let them pass, you brat. Don't talk to them. And a whole more stuff like that, but I ignored it and Shizu seemed to not care at all. Well, even when you don't wanted to wear this, it seems that you enjoy it right now, I said, smiling. It's because it has some kind of happy feeling to walk with you like that, she said, honest, and smiled. Is that so? Then what do you think? Should we rebuild Tempest? I asked her. I liked Tempest, but what would happen to Black Castle? She asked. We could let Cerberus rule it. After all, it's in her territory and she would be a puppet state of the Great Jura Forest Alliance, I said. I see. The elves already said they wanted to rebuild our town, but we're not sure if it would anger me. And the time I woke up here, Seal told me a few changes, for example that the Dwarf Kingdom doesn't exist anymore. It took me a long time to realize that actually Cerberus territory is the Dwarf Kingdom and it's next to the Jura Forest, so it would be perfect. That would mean that our territory would not only be the Great Jura Forest but including the Dwarf Kingdom and the Falmouth Kingdom right next to it, I explained her. That sure would come in handy, but let's decide this sometime later, honey, Shizu said. I don't own that picture. As we reached our carriage, there were standing several royal knights and Minami and Vera stood in front of the carriage, not letting anyone look inside. I would like to know why the royal guards are surrounding my carriage. Does someone care to explain to me? I said with my deeper voice. The knights looked confused. After all, they never saw us before, but we were clearly looking like some kind of royalty. We apologize for the trouble, but our Majesty the King tasked us to bring you to the palace. I am the captain of the royal knights. My name is Gilbert, the knight said and bowed formally. I see, my name is Rimuru Tempest. I am the leader of Jurat Tempest Federation, and this is my wife Shizu Tempest, I said. We shall show you the way, your Highness Tempest, Gilbert said. Who? Quite your friendly knight captain, I thought. Seal, did this nation sell slaves? I asked her. No records of slaves, dear. It is illegal here, but it seems a few were caught here and then transported to another nation, Seal said. I see. Seems like Falmouth learned his lesson, but it seems they forgot me, I thought. After that we get on the carriage and were guided to the palace. It wasn't a long ride, of course, we could have teleported easily, but let's just play the king role. His Highness Farmanes is waiting for you, the knight said as we were standing in front of a gate most likely to the throne room. Right, why is this nation still named Falmouth? When Yum named himself Farmanes, I asked Seal. Yum doesn't want to change its name to don't destroy the loyalty the Paropal had to this nation, so he just named the royal family Farmanes, Seal answered, and I smiled. Well then let's see what he wants, I said, and entered with Shizu next to me and Mihiran behind me. The entire royal family were in the throne room. I looked at them and Seal analyzed them. The king and the queen are possessing the hero haki, but not as strong as Gazel, Seal said. I am sorry that I disturbed your time in Maris, our capital city, the king said after we don't kneeled. What made a few guard mad, but we ignored them. We had fun and we had planned to come here anyways, I said simply. Straight to the point, huh? The king asked, and the prince seemed annoyed that I am talking so carelessly. After all, that saves us some time, right? I said, honest, and the king smiled. I like the way of your thinking. What's your name? The king asked. Let's see, my name is Rimuru Tempest, the leader of the Great Jurat Tempest Federation. The king's face darkened as I said that name. The queen noticed it but remained silent and caressed the little princess. Everyone, please leave this room and prepare the meal that we should have had for 7 persons. The king shouted and a few nobles seemed to wanted to stop him and explain what happened, but the royal knights chased them out. The king then stood up from his throne. It seems like we don't need formalities. Well, that's what I heard about you. My name is Farmanes and this is my wife Elaine Farmanes with my daughter Miju Farmanes and my son Grucius Farmanes. Who I can remember a time when called you Miju, I said to Miharin with thought communication. She was slightly red and I giggled. Those names, huh? I mean, you really look like so I guess it's alright. But Grucius, did you read your kingdom's history for that? I said, leaving the queen and prince surprised. Do you want to say that you know the first king after the revolution of Falmouth? Elaine asked me. Dear he. The king wanted to say something but I dropped the bomb. Of course I know him. After all, I made him the king back then, I said. The queen and prince looked at me for a moment and then they shouted in union, what?